Hello, I'm Bob Lichtman, and I am privileged to be your Federation's Chief Jewish Learning Officer. As I record these words, bombs are falling down throughout the state of Israel. And by the time you hear these words, I hope that peace will be reigning upon the people of Israel. If not at this very moment, then hopefully at a moment very, very soon. This coming week, Jews all over the world are going to be celebrating the holiday of Shavuot. Now, the Torah doesn't give us the exact date of Shavuot. It tells us if we count 50 days after the holiday of Passover, we will find ourselves at the foot of Mount Sinai receiving the Ten Commandments. I want to share with you some of the miraculous aspects of the Ten Commandments themselves, the actual tablets that Moses was holding on top of Mount Sinai. And I want to share what some of those miraculous elements can mean to us today, so many thousands of years later. Not only, of course, the actual words of the Ten Commandments by which we live and mold our ethical and Jewish and communal values and behavior, but the actual tablets themselves. So the first thing that the rabbis tell us is that, we can imagine the Ten Commandments that Moses is holding as kind of brown or whitish, like stone. Those were, in fact, the second set of Ten Commandments, of Luchot HaBrit, the tablets of the covenant, as they're called in Hebrew, that Moses actually created together with God. But the first set of Ten Commandments was created entirely by God. And God, having access to the most miraculous, beautiful, wondrous elements in the universe, created the Ten Commandments not on stone, kind of normal, ordinary stone that we might see or stumble upon, but the stone that God chose to carve his Ten Commandments was sapphire. Beautiful, brilliant, sparkly, lustrous sapphire. Another aspect of the Ten Commandments that the rabbis tell us is that the words were not just etched on the front of the sapphire, but the words were etched through and through, so you could see completely through the letters, through the other side of the tablets. And the miraculous thing was, if you looked at it from the front or the back, and Hebrew, goes from right to left, doesn't matter whether it goes from left to right or right to left, but it goes in a direction, right? But no matter where you were standing, if you're standing in the front, the letters were carved all the way through and they were legible, or if you stood in the back, without turning the tablets around, those same letters were just as legible from the other direction as well. The third miraculous thing that I just want to mention for this morning is that the Ten Commandments, these big stones of sapphire, you can imagine that they weigh a lot. But the rabbis tell us that they were weightless. They carried themselves. So what can we learn about these miraculous aspects of the Ten Commandments, other than just saying, wow, that's really miraculous? What about these aspects of them can we learn and kind of use to improve our character? Even though we don't have those Ten Commandments today, what can we learn from their physicality that can inform our behavior in our lives? Well, the first thing we should know is that the beautiful set of Ten Commandments carved in sapphire, well, when Moses carried them down Mount Sinai, he saw the Jews worshiping the golden calf, and he got so upset that he smashed them. He smashed them to smithereens. And the rabbis say, well, what happened to all those little shards, those tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of shards of sapphire that were scattered around the bottom of Mount Sinai? What happened to them? The rabbis say that each one of those little shards was picked up and valued as greatly as the Ten Commandments themselves and put in the Holy Ark right next to the replacement set of Ten Commandments. And wherever the Jews went, and when the Holy Ark was deposited in the Holy Temple, those hundreds of thousands of broken shards were right there. And what it tells us is that, our community right now feels broken into like millions of pieces. And even those of us who are emerging, thank God, from this plague, who among us is not broken? And just like all those shards were valued and put together and venerated as holy, so our community will continue hold those shards together, hold all of us together, and keep us together as holy. The second aspect about being able to read from one side to the other is a beautiful aspect of being honest and open with one another. Not saying one thing to one person and something else to another person, but being transparent in who we are, either in the way we run our organizations or the way we run our lives. And the third and final aspect for today is that the commandments were weightless. What does that mean for us? The commandments carried themselves. That's who we are as a community. When we are together, when we feel for each other and support one another, and we carry one another as a community, we are weightless. And we'll continue to be able to carry each other, and we'll continue to bring these values to our community and to the world, as long as we keep one another in sight and our holy mission as a Jewish people in sight as well. Wishing you a Shabbat Shalom and a wonderful, happy, and sweet Chag Shavuot.